Welcome back to Bay Sunday. It's time for some spring cleaning, not your home, but your health this morning. And here to give us tips to do just that is Dr. Nicole Van Groningen. Welcome to Bay Sunday, Doctor.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So tell us, there are a lot of myths about these diets that we're seeing, a lot of fads. Tell us what we should look out for.
So you're right. There's so many new dietary recommendations that come out that unfortunately really haven't been validated in high quality clinical studies. There are a few to look out for, and in particular, there was an article that came out from the Journal of the American College of Cardiology that went through a lot of these popular diet fads of today and debunked quite a few of them. So we can talk about those.
Yeah, let's talk about one of them, coconut oil. A lot of people think that this might be actually good for you and use it in your cooking. What do you say, and what have you learned about it?
Right. So recently, this has been started to, get this reputation as a good fat, but that's problematic. What we know about coconut oil is that it's solid at room temperature. And like other oils that are solid at room temperature, butter is one of the primary examples, it contains a lot of saturated fat. And what we know about saturated fat is that they can raise levels of bad cholesterol in the blood, like LDL, and ultimately that can increase your overall cardiovascular risk. So these are the types of fats that we should be cautioning people towards limiting their use as opposed to encouraging people to cook with them.
So what might be some better alternatives then, besides coconut oil?
Right, great question. So the better alternative are vegetable oils, canola oil, corn oil, olive oil. All of these are liquids at room temperature, meaning they have more unsaturated fats, which truly are these good fats. And in particular, we can really recommend olive oil because there was a recent study that found that people who supplemented their diets with olive oil tended to have lower levels of heart disease, cardiac events like heart attack and stroke, compared to people who didn't supplement their diets with olive oil.
We're always hearing about studies about antioxidants, how it's good for you. What about antioxidant supplements?
So antioxidant supplements are not what we want to focus on. We do have plenty of data that shows that eating an antioxidant-rich diet is very beneficial for your health, particularly your cardiovascular health. But when the supplement industry caught on to this and started bottling these high-dose antioxidant supplements, the follow-up studies found that when people took these supplements, they really didn't show any benefit in terms of their cardiovascular health, and there maybe was a concern that they did more harm than good.
And some of the fruits that are high in antioxidants, give us some examples.
So particularly berries, things like raspberries, blueberries, strawberries, they're high in the antioxidant group we call flavonoids, and those are a great thing to include in your diet to really improve your health, particularly your cardiovascular health.
All right, what about gluten-free diets? We're also hearing a lot about this, and a lot of restaurants you go to, you see that gluten-free menu. What should we know about gluten-free menus, the truths and I guess the myths?
It's such a hot topic. So what I will say is there are certain groups of people that absolutely should avoid gluten. So those are people with celiac disease, people with gluten sensitivity, but really this only constitutes a very small proportion of the population. For the vast majority of people, there is no evidence that following a gluten-free diet has any health benefits or any weight loss benefits, contrary to what you may have heard.
And so then what's the better alternative instead of always asking for gluten-free?
The better alternative is to eat gluten, as long as you don't have a gluten-related disorder like celiac disease or gluten sensitivity, because we keep talking about how whole grains are really a cornerstone of a healthy diet, and that means gluten-containing foods like wheat, barley, rye. So as long as you don't have a gluten-related disorder, you should absolutely include those in your diet.
Yeah, it seems like the common theme right now is to go simple with the foods that are natural, such as those berries, and then just wheat bread, things that are simple instead of taking like supplements.
That's exactly right, and focusing on whole foods, whole fruits, vegetables, as opposed to anything that seems a little bit gimmicky, like a supplement or anything really processed.
You walk down the street, you look at some stores, and they're also always promoting the cold pressed juices, which are significantly more expensive than your regular juice. What should we know about juicing?
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, juicing is wildly popular these days, especially the cold pressing, which claims to get the maximum nutritional benefit out of any fruit or vegetable. But what we should know is that not a single study has ever shown that drinking your fruits and vegetables in liquid form is better than eating whole fruits and vegetables. And actually, there's some key drawbacks to juicing that people should really be aware of.
And what are those?
So the key ones are, number one, when you juice, you're taking out the fiber of the fruit or the vegetable, which is one of the big things that makes fruits and vegetables so healthy to begin with. So that's a key drawback. The second is you're really concentrating a lot of the calories and the sugar from these fruits and vegetables, particularly if there's a lot of fruit juices involved. So very easily, if you're drinking a lot of juice, you can end up getting too many calories and too much sugar.
Yeah. What about vegetarian, vegan, or plant-based? What should we know about those and differentiate some of those things that we mentioned?
So the interesting thing is, in terms of a plant-based diet and that kind of fad, or some people may actually call it a movement, that really is one that holds water. There have been studies that support following more of a plant-based diet. Specifically, there have been large-scale observational studies that have found that people who report taking in a lot of animal products, so meat, dairy, eggs, things like that, tend to have a higher risk of dying from multiple different types of diseases, particularly cancer and heart disease, compared to people who say that they follow more of a plant-based diet with lower amounts of animal products.
That's fascinating stuff, and you can get enough protein from these plant-based diets versus meat.
That's absolutely right, and it's a really common misconception that I hear a lot, that you can't get enough protein from a vegetarian diet, but a lot of plant sources of protein are actually healthier than animal sources.
Doctor, thank you so much for joining us. Very useful information. That is it for this week. Be sure to visit our website, cbssf.com/Based Sunday, and our Facebook page, where you can pitch us your stories and give it a like while you're there. Thanks for watching. Have a great Sunday.